50% of 2024 has already passed, and I just have one simple question for you. Have you achieved your goals yet? What happened to those goals that you set during New Year's Eve? That this will finally be the year when I will achieve all my business targets, my career goals, my relationship goals, or my health targets. What happened to them? Look, if you don't have an answer to those questions, my friend, then sorry to say, but you have literally wasted half of the year. And that's why you should watch this video till the very end if you want to actually make sure that the other half of the year doesn't end up in another disaster and you finally end up achieving the success that you have been craving for since a very long period of time. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this video and let me explain how to crush your targets this very year. Now, in case you don't already know me, my name is Rohan Dhawan. I'm the CEO and founder of this company called as Uability. Till date, I've generated over 3 lakh plus leads, 40,000 appointments, 2,000 plus high ticket clients, and had the opportunity of working with some of the biggest names in the industry, people like Digital Deepak, Dharneetran GD. We have said it like Swasit, Ankit Nirav, Himesh Madan, and many more. And in this video, what I want to actually show you is if an ordinary individual like myself can consistently work on achieving my own goals and my own objectives, then how you can also copy and paste what I've been doing since the last 4 to 5 years to actually crush my goals as well. So here are some of the problems that I've noticed when it comes to not being able to achieve your targets successfully. The first problem that I see in a lot of individuals when I talk to them, whether they are business owners or normal working professionals, is that they have not actually mapped out their goals. This means they have absolutely no idea what they want to actually achieve in terms of their income. They have absolutely no clue regarding what kind of progress they want to see in their health or their relationship. And here's the thing, if you haven't actually written down what exactly you want to accomplish and you haven't actually reverse engineered on how exactly you'll be achieving that goal, then how do you plan on actually doing the same? Think about this. Let's say if I give you a car and I tell you that from New Delhi you have to reach, let's say, Mumbai, right? And I tell you that you have no map, you have no direction, you can't use Google Maps, none of that stuff, and you have to go to that destination. Do you think through guesswork you'll be able to actually do that? Probably you might by asking some people here and there, but how tedious that journey would be as opposed to, let's say, I give you the exact directions on how to actually achieve that particular destination, right? So that is the first problem that I see in a lot of individuals, and don't worry, in this video I'll show you how to fix that problem as well. The second problem that I see a lot of individuals have is, let's say that they do decide that, okay, Rohan, this year I want to finally lose weight, or this year I want to finally achieve my target of making, let's say, 1 lakh per month through my side hustle. It could be anything, but if you are not consistently measuring your progress, right, then how exactly would you be certain that you'll actually end up achieving that goal? And this is the reason why a lot of people set major goals by 1st January, and by 15 January or something, you will see half of those people actually giving up on all those dreams that they have actually set for themselves. So here's another interesting fact that I would like to actually share with you. Now, not too long ago, there was actually a study done where two individuals or two group of people were divided into two different categories, right? And the objective was simple. Those two groups wanted to lose weight. Okay. Now, one group of individuals literally did nothing, and the scientists basically told those people, keep living your life, keep doing whatever you want, and keep doing, things however you like, and you don't need to change anything, and just keep going. Right, that was group number one. And group number two, the only change these scientists told these individuals or people to do was just simply start tracking your weight every single day. So this means the moment you wake up, step on that weighing scale and measure yourself, and then just write it down somewhere how much exactly you weigh. And guess what, within a period of at least 2 to 3 months, which group actually ended up making progress? It was group number two. This means without making any adverse changes to their diets, without actually doing anything, just by actually noting down how much they weigh on a regular basis, they were able to subconsciously adjust what they have to eat and what activities they need to do in order to make sure that they lose weight. And that's why group number two ended up losing more weight than group number one, who basically made no change and they were not tracking their progress. So that is the second problem that I see in a lot of individuals. Now the third thing is, let's say that you were able to actually map out your goals and now you are tracking them successfully as well, but on a regular basis what will happen, you will come across various kind of distractions that will prevent you from hitting your targets. For example, let's say you have been trying to lose weight, okay, and suddenly you did everything well today, but at night you get a call from your friend who's like, you know what, let's go out and eat some butter chicken, right? And how would you actually let go of that temptation? It's very difficult, right? And then let's say you are trying to actually achieve your income targets, and you just came back home from your office, and maybe you're trying to work on that side hustle that you've been planning for since the last 2 years. And guess what, then suddenly the left side of your brain is like, let's complete that one series of Netflix, or let me spend some time on Instagram and check out what that other person posted so that I could like on his picture and give him some artificial satisfaction, right? So those are distractions that actually stop a lot of these individuals from achieving their targets completely as well. And the fourth thing that stops a lot of these individuals is not becoming the character that is truly capable of realizing the objective that they want. Now what most people do is, when it comes to achieving any kind of target that they want, they say that, okay, I want to be the successful business person that runs this company, or I want to actually be this good looking person with this amazing physique or whatnot. But when you look at that individual and their mindset and the kind of actions that they take, they're still operating with their old self rather than kind of like becoming the individual and starting to pretend and be and behave like the individual capable of achieving those goals already, rather than just sticking to their old character. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people give up midway, and that is why they stay stuck in their old identity. All right, now if you're going through those four challenges, my goal over here in this video is to make sure that you're able to overcome all of them and finally achieve what you want. So let's get into the first thing, which is mapping out your goals. Step number one. Okay, now if you haven't done that, then I would highly recommend you do the same. Now, if you want to map out your objectives, the best thing I would recommend is pull up an Excel sheet, something like this, and write down exactly what is your goal and what all activities you will need to do in order to achieve that goal. Now, for the sake of this video, what I've done is I've created this Excel sheet, which, by the way, if you watch this video till the end, I'll be happy to give it to you for absolutely free. Okay. Now, in this Excel sheet, what I've done is I've basically mapped out my target. Let's say target number one would be, let's say, making 2,50,000 rupees a month. And by month 12, let's say my target is to make 13,50,000 rupees per month. Now again, you could adjust this target however you like. You don't have to aim such massive. You could even adjust it to, like, let's say you earning your first 50,000 rupees a month. Okay, now let's say if I want to earn that much income, what exactly do I need to do? Well, I need to sell some sort of product or a service, right? If I want to start a business. Now let's say if I'm able to price that product or a service at a price point of 1 lakh rupees, then in order to achieve my goal of 2,50,000 rupees, how many clients do I really require? Well, let's say hypothetically between two to three. Okay, now it says 2.5, but of course you can't have like two clients and a half client, right? So point is that you actually need to make sure and be certain that if I want to make 2,50,000, I need to somehow get two to three clients this particular month to achieve my target. Now let's say for some reason you're like, but Rohan, 1 lakh rupees is too much, I can't charge that much for my advice and services. No worries at all, let's adjust this goal and let's make this 50,000 bucks. Now if I want to make 2,50,000 rupees, I need 5 clients to achieve my target. And that's how it basically happens, right? Now if I want 2 to 3 clients every single month, let's assume that I have a closing rate of 15%. This means if I talk to approximately, let's say, 100 people, I'm able to close 15% of them, which is around 15 people, right? Now if my objective is to close approximately 2 to 3 deals, guess how many calls will I have to conduct in order to achieve that goal? Well, I will have to conduct 17 calls in order to achieve that goal, so that I could convert 15% of them and basically achieve my objective of 2 to 3 clients, right? Now if I have to divide 17 calls, let's say, within a period of 1 month, this basically means I have to do less than half a call every single day, right? That becomes 0.56. Now, of course, that doesn't make sense. So let's say worst case scenario, even if I come back home from my tiring job, and if I'm able to even do one call every single day, right, I can actually become close to my target of, let's say, making that amount, right, whichever I desire. Now, in case you are wondering, Rohan, that is great, but how do I generate these calls and how do I conduct these calls? What do I say on these calls, etc.? Don't worry at all. There are free videos on my YouTube channel that literally explain A to Z on how you can actually do that. Go check them out right now, and you'll be able to learn that in detail after you're done watching this video, right? But essentially, what you're doing is this is how you're setting your targets, okay? Now, similarly, let's say if I want to make 3,50,000, I need 3 to 4 clients, 23 calls, and boom, I can do that. 4.5 lakhs, again, 4 to 5 clients, 30 calls, and I can do that. And all the way till 13 lakh 50,000, where I need 13 clients every month and 90 calls that I need to do in order to achieve my target. Now, this is the exact math that you can actually follow to achieve literally anything. Now, if you don't map that from day number one, then guess what will happen? Will you achieve your goals? Probably not. And similarly, you can do this for weight loss. You could do this for, let's say, your relationship goals or anything that you're trying to do in your life. Now, once you have done that and you've mapped out your goals, the next thing that I would highly recommend is basically tracking these activities to make sure that you are achieving these goals consistently. Now, since the last approximately 4 to 5 years, I have basically been very, very consistent in terms of tracking my progress and the action items I need to do. So, for instance, if I know that I need to do at least, let's say, 17 calls in order to achieve my target, then I have to start my day by number one, generating leads, right? That's the first action item I need to actually map out. And then I need to actually also turn those leads into calls, and then turn those calls into customers, right? So in the last 4 to 5 years, what I've done is I've basically used something called as a war map, which allows me to track my progress on a regular basis. This is something that I learned from an influencer called as Sam Evans, who used this tool and taught me about this tool in order to track my progress on a regular basis. Now let's look at the war map that I used to use in 2020, right? If you would look at my war map, as you can see, this one over here, this is when I was pretty much getting started with my business, right? So if my goal was, let's say, to generate leads, and let's say back then my goal was approximately, I think, to do 20-30 lakhs. That's how much I was doing probably back then, right? So let's say I knew very well that if this is my goal and I need to achieve, let's say, 90 calls, for example, right? Then I need to do 5 calls in a day. So what I would do is I would wake up every morning or before I would end my day, and I would plan tomorrow, and I would just simply write down those action items. So, for example, as you can see over here, I wrote down that I have to manage my ads, right? So, I just basically wrote down, okay, ads managed, spend this much on ads so I can generate the leads that I desire. And then I have to do 5 calls that particular day. So, I just wrote down sales, 5 calls, and then I had to do some email marketing as well so I could generate more leads, right? And that is what I pretty much did. Now, was I able to do that every single day? No, life happens, right? And that's why when I'm not able to do that activity, I would just simply mark that as red. And when I am able to do that particular activity, I would just mark that as green and also cross this out. Okay. Now, if you want this document and you want a bar map like this for yourself, right? Again, watch this video till the end and I'll be happy to provide you with a link to the same. Okay. And as you can see, I'm tracking every single action item that is needed on a consistent basis. And I was able to do this, regularly with I think in 2021 also I did that, and then 2022 also I did that, 2023 also I did that, and 2024 till date I'm doing that on a regular basis, right? And just to show you that I'm not lying, let me just also show you like 2021. As you can see, this is how I'm actually able to do that. And this allowed me to achieve my goals on a regular basis. Okay. So just to recap, first, reverse engineer your goals, map them out. And then number two, open war map. And then you can also start plotting what exact action items need to be done in order to achieve your goals, and then basically start tracking them on a regular basis. So another tip that I can actually give to you is, in addition to your war map, what you can also use is a simple free tool that is available to literally anybody, which is called as Google Calendar, right? And on Google Calendar, you could basically go to your war map and look at the various kind of action items that you have, which are aligned with the goal that you want to accomplish, and make sure that you can map them out on your Google Calendar every single day so that you get consistent reminders reminders from this particular calendar, and you have accountability regarding what to do. So for example, for today, my routine looks simply like this. I had a morning routine, then I had a morning meeting to attend to, then I had all this white space, and then I had one interview, and then now I have basically dedicated this time 3 to 7 p.m. in order to conduct my shoot, which I'm doing right now, like how you can see, to record this particular video. So similarly, whatever your objective is, right, use the war map, use the Google Calendar in order to track those activities, and this way you will never forget to accomplish whatever your goal might be. And let's say at the end of the day you are not able to complete any kind of task, just go to your war map, mark that as red, and then go map out and plan out rest of the day for tomorrow, and just do your level best to achieve that particular target. And you know what the difference between those people who achieve their goals and those who do not is that people who actually achieve their goals do not give up, and they keep going even if things don't work out as planned on first day. So far what we have covered is basically reverse engineer your goals, map them out using tools like warmap as well as Google Calendar. And then the third thing that you must recognize, when you'll be actually making progress throughout this journey, what will start happening is your phone will ring, your friends will call you, your people will disturb you, maybe social media might kick in, maybe that next Netflix series that you've been planning to watch might actually distract you. So how do you actually fix for that? Well, let me share with you a simple document which will explain this to you in much more detail. Again, if you want access to this, watch this video till the end. You'll be able to actually get it for free. Okay. So, tip number one, okay, limit distractions. Now, what do I mean by this? There are a lot of tools that you can go to the Chrome extension store and download, which will allow you to limit distractions. Because for me personally, when I observe my screen time on my phone and on my computer, what I observed is I was spending a lot of time on three websites: Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Okay, so what I decided to do is I downloaded this tool which is called as Facebook Newsfeed Remover and YouTube Distraction Free tool. And I basically, what I did is, with the help of this tool, whenever I would load my Facebook, let me just show that to you. This is how my newsfeed looks like. As you can see, literally you can't view anything, right? And the only reason for that is because I am using this Chrome extension. And since my newsfeed is blocked and I cannot see what my friends are sharing or what anybody is talking about, I cannot get distracted, and as a result I'll just quit this tab and get back to my work. Now let me show you the same for YouTube as well, right? This is how my YouTube feed looks like. You can't actually see anything. And as a result, the algorithm doesn't control me. I control the algorithm, where I could search for the topics that I'm interested in case I want to use this app. And if not, then I basically look at this and it's just like, I see that, oh, there's nothing to actually distract me. And then I just exit it. Okay, so these are the tools. You could download DFTube, which is called as distraction free for YouTube. You could also use this plugin called as Block Site, in case you are like, Rohan, I thought even when I open Facebook, there are messages, there's this, there's that. You can also download Block Site, which once you install, it will not even allow you to visit the website, right? So that's a level of control that really depends upon person to person. Okay, so you can do that. Some other tips that I have for you to limit distraction: close all the other tabs on your browser when you're operating. It's very simple. Just click the cross button, just like how I did right now. If possible, delete all social media apps from your phone. Back when I started my business and I needed at most attention, in fact till date as well, I deleted the Instagram app from my phone, and that has been a game changer for me, right? If you still think, Rohan, I am getting distracted, just cancel your TV subscription, right? I remember for the first 2 years, right, I literally didn't even watch TV for a very long period of time. Why? Because I knew if I would be subscribed to all these OTT platforms, I would probably binge and I would never be able to focus, right? Stopping or limiting drinking alcohol, right? One thing that used to always hinder my progress is I would work Monday to Friday. Every weekend, I would go out, drink alcohol, and then my brain would be super foggy, and then I wouldn't be able to focus for the next, I think, 3 to 4 days. And then by the time I would actually get back on track, now weekend comes back again, and now I'm actually going out and then drinking and then hanging out with people and then just like not achieving anything at all. Some other tips: if you cook for yourself, right, getting a meal delivery service, getting a chef would be really, really helpful. Or if you can't afford any of that, just spend your weekend, bulk prep, right? Put that food in the fridge so that you don't have to worry about all this stuff when you are trying to focus on your business, right? Uh, if you drive, right, see if you can get Uber. If you can't afford Uber, try to do carpooling or whatever possible, so that you can spend that extra time actually working on your business or things that actually matter to you. uh, some basic things: sleep on time, wake up on time, and this way at least you'll have the discipline to actually focus on the things that you truly desire. Okay. Some other tips: whenever you're working, put your phone on airplane mode, just like how I have right now. I'm recording this video, nobody can contact me because my phone is, in airplane mode. In fact, it's not even with me right now in my possession, it's in another room where I can't even access it. So when I'm doing deep work, it's in another room, it doesn't distract me at all. Another tip I can give to you is track your time. Now, a lot of, like, a big objection people tell me is, Rohan, I don't have time to work on my dreams, my goals, and passion and whatnot, right? Here's a simple hack for you: get a new notebook, right? Literally, a new notebook. Go to the stationery shop. Literally, after watching this video, I know a lot of you won't do this, right? I know that. But for those of you, the ones that are really, really committed, right, just go get a notebook, right? As soon as you get out of your bed, set an alarm for 1 hour intervals. So what do I mean? Let's say you wake up at 8 a.m., right? Set one alarm from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 12, and so on and so forth, right? All the way till the time you end your work or your day. Okay. And then all you have to do is, every time the alarm rings, take that notebook and just write down what exactly were you doing. So for example, if you're watching Netflix, just write down that. If you were cooking food, write that down. If you were, let's say, talking to a friend or maybe doing a sales call, write that down. Okay. And then eventually do that activity for 7 days at least, and on Sunday I want you to observe where exactly your time is going and classify that in various kind of buckets, right? So for example, if you realize that you spend your let's say 7 hours that particular week doing just grocery shopping, right? Could you find out a better alternative to actually do that particular thing without you actually spending 7 hours doing the same? Maybe opt in for online shopping, or maybe like hire your house help to actually help you with that particular activity, right? Or maybe you learned that you spend over 14 hours just on Instagram. Could you probably eliminate that from your life and actually use that time for something productive? And this way you'll be able to hold yourself accountable towards achieving anything that you want in your life. Okay. And just identify which buckets are taking most of your time and which are wasteful activities, right? Just classify: this activity value equals good, this activity not value equals bad. Stop doing the bad ones, start doing the good ones, basic stuff, and you'll be able to achieve your goals, right? And that's how you gain 1 to 2 hours, right? And then you can also allocate set hours on your Google Calendar, just like how I showed you. I literally have a schedule for my sleep. I have a time for like when I wake up and what meetings happens when. Everything is scheduled on my warm app as well as Google Calendar. I would recommend you do the same thing as well. And then I would also recommend getting a journal, the same journal I told you to buy. Also start planning out rest of the day and how tomorrow will look like for you. So here's an example of what you can do: write down the date of tomorrow, core goals that you have tomorrow, right? Things that you're grateful for, right? Because it's not a good idea to always keep aiming for something when you're ignoring the things that you have right at hand. And then basically write down hour by hour what exactly you'll be doing. And then at the end of the day, just reflect upon: what did I learn today, and was I able to fulfill upon my commitment? If not, what will I do better next time? Okay. And just by doing this on its own, like, you literally will gain back a lot of time, you will get rid of distractions, and you'll be focused and hyper optimized towards achieving anything that you truly desire, right? Another thing that I can give to you, or a suggestion, would be start thinking long term, right? So rather than thinking about first order consequences, start thinking about fourth and fifth order consequences as well. So for instance, you might think right now that, okay, Rohan, I might, let's say it's 12 a.m., right? And it's time for you to sleep because you have an important meeting tomorrow. But somehow your brain says, let me actually watch a little bit of TV, or let me actually do something which you don't need to do that moment, but you still decide to do that, right? Now from your perspective, the first order consequence would be, oh, I might just get late for the meeting, and as a result I might have to, like, take like rather than going from bus, maybe I'll have to travel via car, or maybe I'll have to, like, pay a little bit extra from Uber, right? But if you start thinking of this from a long term perspective, right, if you keep taking actions like this, right, what if you arrive at the office late and the client actually realizes that you're not punctual, and as a result you tend to lose that deal. And let's say that if you do lose that deal and that client tells someone else that you're not punctual, and as a result of that, they, through word of mouth, the future client that you had to get through that particular individual also gets lost, right? So start thinking long term, start thinking in terms of third, fourth, and fifth order consequences of every action that you take, and as a result of this, you'll be in a much more better position when it comes to deciding what activities you should do and not. And finally, plan your goals, right? How do you plan your goals? That is literally something that I showed you not too long ago. And when you do that consistently every single day, you will actually be a lot more consistent and accountable. Now, when you're trying to become this individual or this persona of somebody, like let's say your goal is to become like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, or like Virat Kohli, and you're like, you look at them and you're like, wow, they're so healthy, they're so much in shape, and I wish I could also have six pack abs, right? But then every single day you wake up, right, and you start acting, let's say, like yourself and not like Ronaldo. So for instance, you wake up. Now ideally, what decisions would Ronaldo make or Virat Kohli make as soon as they wake up? Well, they would probably decide to have a healthy breakfast, right? And maybe they would decide to go for a run, or maybe they might decide to actually do some sit-ups, right? Whereas the old version of yourself, what would he want? Well, what the old version of yourself might be like, you know what, let me just like click on the snooze button on the alarm and let me sleep that extra hour. Who cares? I'll just go to the office and maybe I'll go to the gym, or maybe I'll do those sit-ups tomorrow, right? Now, if you're going to operate with the old self and not like the desired self, then you will continue to get the results that the old self has been getting since the last 3 to 5 or since the rest of your life, but you will not be able to become the individual that you truly aspire to be like. So, how do you actually bridge this gap and truly start becoming the individual that you want to be like and start taking actions like them? Well, to help you out with that, I use this particular tool called as Vision Map, right? Now, this Vision Map is a Google Doc, which is pretty simple, right? And over here, what I've done is I've divided this particular Vision Map into various kind of categories, and let me walk you through the same. The first category is my 1 year goals. Okay, the things that I truly want to achieve within, let's say, the next 1 year. Now this would be mapped out into business goals, this would be accumulated finance goals, this might be fitness, health, and mindset goals, or these might be relationship goals, like let's say helping your parents retire from work or buying your partner some sort of present, right? So this is how it would look like. Now I would basically make a list of this, and I think spend approximately a week coming up with this properly, and then I start following it consistently till the time I actually achieve these goals, and then I had to redo it again and redo it again till the time I was able to actually set new goals and consistently achieve them, right? So these are my short term goals, and then what I would also do is I would also write down my long term goals, which are like more 5 year oriented, again in terms of business, accumulated finance, fitness, health, and relationship. This way I will always know that, Rohan, you haven't become the individual you truly want to yet. That's why if you want to consistently achieve these goals, right, you have to actually look at this document on a regular basis. In fact, when I was starting out, I used to look at this document 3 to 4 times a day, to make sure that I'm heading towards that direction, right? So again, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can download this document. Click on file, make a copy, and start writing down your goals as well. Okay, and then I also attach some images. So this was my identity. So if I want to become, let's say, this particular character, right, can I already take images from the internet of individuals who have already become who I want to, and start like putting them and start looking at those images so that I can take inspiration? Well, that's exactly what I did. Well, this is the kind of house that I desired. This is the kind of individual that I truly looked upon, because this is a screenshot from my favorite movie. This is my favorite TV show, which is called as Suits, right? So by looking at these individuals and seeing how their life looks like and how I can incorporate those behaviors within my own life really motivated me a lot. And this is an image of a company which has team members, and I also wanted a team like this for myself and take them out for retreats and whatnot. And this is what I was also able to do. But if I wouldn't have looked at this particular image and these visualize this truly every single day, then I wouldn't have become the person that I am today, and I wouldn't have actually made any kind of progress. So this is something that you can also do. Now, another thing that I also do over here in this particular document is I write down the exact character traits of the individual I truly want to be like. So just putting images on its own won't really help you, right? So think about this, right? Let's say I want to become like Harvey Specter from Suits, or I want to actually become like Mark Zuckerberg. What are some of the characteristics that they have? Well, these individuals might be focused, relentless, system thinkers, and consistent, right? Are healthy, they are sensitive, open and transparent, alert and observant, respectful, following their own rules, stick to them, and basically disciplined, and they're confident, right? So I basically started writing these in a manner so that I can actually affirm myself that I am becoming this particular individual. And a lot of you watching this video might be like, Rohan, this is woo woo stuff, it doesn't work. Well, it did work for me, and I'm just sharing with you what worked for me so that you can also try it out, because this is exactly something that a lot of successful people do on a regular basis. In fact, I also wrote down the goal image, the kind of clothes that I want to wear, the appearance that I will have, the physique type, the bank balance, and the social attributes that I will have, right? I wrote down the name of the mentors I would follow, and this started helping me a lot. Now, throughout this process, I also wrote down some of the achievements that I have already done by then. So back then, I think I had achieved like $10,000 per month mark with my agency. So I basically took screenshots of that and start like looking at that on a regular basis so that I don't feel demotivated. Looking at all these goals sometimes make you feel discouraged. You're like, yeah, there's so much left to do. What should I do? My life is worthless right now. So looking at these achievements really gave me the confidence and the push that I can actually do whatever I truly desire. Okay, so this really helped. Some convictions also I wrote down. For example, I've set this goal that I want to make itna or this much money every single year. But why? Right? Why do that as opposed to, let's say, doing a 9 to 5 job, right? And then let's say I might say to myself that, hey Rohan, I want to actually be lean, I don't want to be obese, and I want to be healthy, right? So why do I want to actually be healthy? That is something I literally wrote down. Why do I want financial independence? Why do I want meaningful relationships, right? Those are some things that you have to remind yourself, and that is something that I wrote down as well. Okay, and then to become the person that I want to become, what skills do I require? For example, to make that much money that I had dreamt for myself, I knew that I had to master digital marketing, sales, business development, communication skills, etc. So I wrote that down as well so that I can remind myself. Then what will be my behavior, right? Let's say to achieve this goal, I'll have to wake up at 7 a.m., work out 3 times a week. Then as soon as I do that, I have to get back to work or maybe do some meditation, etc., etc. So I wrote down literally the routine of a successful person, and I started looking at this and following it on a regular basis, right? And then what kind of environment do I need in order to make sure? So for example, I needed an uncluttered environment because I knew that if everything around me is like messy and I'm like, let's say, there's like bunch of pens and papers over here, and I have to like literally find the documents I really need through all this mess around me to actually get the job that I have at hand done, then it's going to take so much time. So having an organized environment really helps. Clean environment, noise free, smells nice, surrounded by motivated individuals. This is something that I really, really needed, and I wrote that down for myself as well. And finally, last but not the least, I also wrote down some of the things that will block me while making this progress and how I can also avoid that in the future. So, for example, let's say in the middle of the day, it's the weekday, and my friends call me and tell me, hey, let's go out, right? That is something not that is something that won't support my goal. So getting rid of that distraction was really helpful. Buying chips and sweets. So if I keep junk food in my cupboard, then I'm more likely to actually binge on that, right? So it's pretty basic stuff, right? So how can I avoid keeping this stuff in my pantry, right? Not tracking. If I don't track my goals, then how will I actually become the individual that I want, like how I talked about earlier? So I wrote down all these things, and I started looking at this particular document on a regular basis, probably 3 to 4 times a day. And in addition to this, what I also started doing is I basically wrote down my goals, I tracked them on a regular basis using Warmap and Google Calendar. I got rid of addictions, and I basically visualized my success. And this is what allowed me to actually make consistent, predictable progress in whatever areas of my life that I truly wanted. And I could proudly say I'm very happy where I am. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't achieve any kind of success in their life, because they don't do these four important things that I just talked about today. So look, here's a fact. Still, you have 6 months left this year, and you can make a massive difference in your life or your business or your career if you actually start implementing these four things today itself, right? If you want access to these 4 documents that I talked about, all you have to do is just click on the link in the description and you'll be able to get all of these things for absolutely free, right? And these will be the things which will determine your success for the next 6 months. Again, there will be 2 types of people watching this video. Category number one would be they would listen to all this advice and they'll be like, yeah, theek hai, but I'm like this only, and they won't make any kind of progress. And category number two would be individuals who will download these documents and start making those habitual changes in their lives and start moving in the direction of the individual that they truly want to become. Which person will you be will determine your next 6 months. Okay. So if you like videos like such, make sure to hit the like button below and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. See you.